Okay, so yesterday we did talk about the data driven framework, right? Today we will learn how we can create the data driven framework in Selenium using the Apache POI. We have already created one sample project, right? And we have added the we have done the necessary configuration, like the adding the libraries, adding the required libraries, and configure it to our project. We'll create few more packages, like we have already created one more package for the Selenium setup. We'll create one more package for the, I will say one more package for the test cases, like the test case which we will automate, where we will actually, from where we will actually call the functions which we will create. We'll have one more folder or the package where we will store our test data. So test cases means the will contain the test scripts, huh? And that I should create one class file which will point to, so I'll copy this over here and I will rename this new name, refactor, rename with is the scenario which we will automate is for the Ajax form, right? So Ajax, so I will write in this manner, test Ajax form demo. Okay, okay, finish. Definitely will have few errors in this one. If okay, it's good, no error. um, wait, is equal to new WebDriver wait, driver, and what we should pass over here, duration dot of seconds, like 5 seconds for example, and here we will wait until expected conditions, select this, visibility of the pop-up, visibility of close pop-up, I mean sorry, visibility of element located by this. Okay, we will not use any thread.slip. So this is the basic thing. Okay, we will need the input forms as well, right? Do we need that input form? We will not need. I will rename this to, let's create one more package over here, named, which is named as the, so creating the packages and storing the files, it's up to you, like how you want to manage. So in the data driven, it's not restricted, like you have to follow this only, but I'm creating this for your better understanding, okay, where we should plus the test data where we should keep the utility files and everything, so that everything is well managed. And whenever you have to maintain this, or whenever you are debugging, it's easier for you. Okay, so here I will create one more package, utilities. Package already exists. Yes, sorry, package I have already created. Automation Selenium tutorial. Here, new package details. So package name should start with the small letters. Okay, fine. Here as well. Build out, build path, rename test case. Yep. What else? What else? Now, first thing what we will do is that in the data driven framework, we fetch data from some other file, right? Hello.
Yes.
We fetch data from some other file. So what's the first thing we should do is that we should write a code which will read the test data file and fetch the and return the proper data, return the
Correct.
proper data, right? So we will create the java class file, java class, to fetch the data from excel file. Since we are using the excel, so we'll create one more class to fetch the data, but we will not create in the way which we have created in our last session. Here we will create in this systematic manner. Okay, so that it so we'll create small methods, like one method to set the excel file, one method to get the cell data, one more method to set the cell value, one more method to get the row count. Okay, so we'll create four methods just for the excel: one to set the excel file, one to get the cell data, one to get the row count, and one to set the cell value. Set the cell value will be used for to set the result, pass or fail. Okay, so I will write I'll create one class, and in that I'll rename this as Excel Utils. So all the methods related to Excel operations I have in the that will be added in this file. Okay, and this file will not have any main method. This java file will not contain any main method. Okay, so first thing first, in the last session we have seen that mainly we will use like 3 to 4 terminology. I think that was in my laptop, not in this computer. So the first we will create or define those objects. So for the excel we have to use hsf, right? So private static xsf workbook, if remember everyone, will create the variable for that workbook, will not initiate anything. And since this all variables will be used at this class level only, so that is the reason I am defining this as the private. Hmm? And why static? Can anyone say?
To avoid exception.
Huh?
To avoid exception.
What type of exception?
That invalid format exception or IO exception.
No. Static is used for that.
To without object call the method. This kind of thing.
Yes, without object, if I want to access this variables, then I can directly access it.
Access. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. That's
fine.
good.
Because these are the variables which I need to access in the method which I will create.
Correct. Correct. Okay.
So that is the reason we'll be doing that.
So first we create a method to set a path for file. Then we will access that file. Right?
Yes. So when we say set up Excel file, so in the Excel file, we'll have to give the Excel file name, right? So it will not just be the Excel file name, it will be the Excel path file Excel. So we'll generalize it like file path
So we will not copy the file inside our project.
string. Sorry.
We will not copy. We will copy the file inside our project, right?
Yes, with which we have copied it, right? We haven't copied. We haven't
No.
created test
No.
data.
No.
Okay, let me create it. So folder test data. Okay, and where we have saved that file. Where we have saved that file. Anyone remember? I believe it data automation training form details. Okay, fine. Test data form
Yeah.
details. Okay, I hope everyone is following. The first thing we do is hello.
First thing we'll do is we'll set up a path for that particular. We'll write a data to set up a path for that particular file.
Again, I didn't get what you're trying to say.
Set property means define a path for that particular file.
But before that, what we were, what uh, see, for defining the path and setting up everything, we have written, right? But yes, as you have said, so string, it will be the
File path
file path. Okay, so instead of
equals
file
to
path, I'll write over here file directory. So it will be the
system dot get property
get property
test data
user dot directory plus. So it will be the
this
plus file
and
directory plus plus file name. Okay, we can do in this manner, or let's do one thing. We'll provide the full path over here only. Full path means user dot directory plus file name. Okay, so we'll just write it down plus file path. Uh, so if we are providing file path, then we don't need to write it down over here. We can pass that over that from our test case file. So next line was file excel file is equal to new file in that file path. Okay, hello,
yes.
Ria, Archita.
Yes.
Are you following?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Next thing was the create an object for of file input stream. File input stream is equal to new file input stream, and in that pass the Excel file. Next thing, creating the workbook instance. So the workbook is equal to new XSF workbook, and in that we will pass the input stream. Definitely it will throw an exception, so
I accept.
throws I exception. After opening the workbook, what we will do, we will get the worksheet. So here, so the we have to open the worksheet of the, we have to open the worksheet from some workbook. So it will be, we will be using
Workbook,
workbook object or
workbook,
workbook instance, workbook dot get
get sheet,
sheet. In that we'll pass the worksheet name.
sheet name. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
So, Nirvesh, as you are mentioning only variables name, do we need to pass uh, values inside that variables, right? Because path is
yes,
not
obviously,
defined.
obviously when we will call this method, we will pass the proper
Values.
values.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so those are the, so these are just the methods which I am creating for the Excels. Next will be like, see, setting up the Excel file. That is done. We have opened the file, and we have opened the file and we have read the worksheet as well, right? So this for this we should not expect anything written. So that is the reason, that is done over here. Next thing is, we the next method which we'll create, that will be the getting the cell value, right? That will be the getting the cell value. So since we know that our cell value are of string only, I'll return something over here. But cell is formed of row and column. So here we have to pass the index number. That means the row number and the cell number. Row number and the cell number, or the column number, right? When these numbers are combined, we will have the cell. So for cell, what we have done, hello,
Yes.
how we can get the cell details of all the details of cell, how we can get works using the worksheet object.
FSSF cell.
Yeah, that we have already created.
Okay.
Okay, but if I want to get a particular cell, then I need to use the worksheet object dot get row. In that I have to pass the row number,
Cell. Okay.
and then as the
Get cell.
column number, get cell. So since they are referring the cell number, we'll use the cell number only. Okay, fine. And return will be cell dot get string value. So here, for your explanation purpose, I will write it like in this manner. String cell value is equal to cell dot get string cell value cell value of value is cell value, and that we will return. All right, fine. Everyone with me?
Yes.
Udit,
No,
Ria.
I'm understanding the code. I'm not writing anything.
Okay. Nationwide strike 28th and 29th March.
Sorry.
Can ignore. Okay. These are the things needed to read the value from Excel file. These two functions are needed, right? The other thing required, the other function required to write the to write something in any Excel file will be, if you remember, we like, sorry, one more thing, to read the whole Excel file, we have to get the total number of filled rows, right? So for that as well, we'll create one more function so that in our iteration it is useful. Get, sorry, get row count in Excel, not in the Excel, in the Excel worksheet. So integer row count is equal to, we have to get the row count of a specific worksheet. So it will be, we'll use the worksheet object dot get last row number, and the first row we will minus it because that is the header. We don't want to use that, right? So we'll minus the get first row number. So it, but obviously it will be one, right? But we will iterate for those 4 lines only, 3 to 4 lines only. Return row count. And last is, we are setting the cell value, like if the test case is passed or failed. Okay, so to set the value, we have to pass the row number, cell number, then then the cell value, string cell value, and then in that we were using the output file as well, output stream. So file path is required. Okay. So first thing will be, first we will get the row. So it will be like, sorry, worksheet dot get row. In that it will be the row number. Then cell is equal to row dot get cell. In that cell number dot, here we have to create the cell. Sorry, here we have to create the cell. So it will not be get cell, it will be create cell. So it will be the cell number dot three dot set cell value. Okay, so it will not be cell is equal to, we just write in this manner. And then file output stream is equal to new file output stream. In that we will pass the Excel file path. This Excel file path and this one, this file path will be same.
Same.
Okay, and then what we will do, workbook dot write. What we will write, output stream. Why we are getting over here? Because it throws then some exception. So we'll add the IO exception. It throws one more as well, IO exception. Okay. Mm, what we are getting over here? अरे IO exception सेव तो कर तो एक मिनट. हाँ. Everyone with me till here? Hello,
Yes, yes.
Priya.
या मैं अर्दू लक्ष्य अर्दू समझू छो.
Okay, समझो છો ઠીક છે વાંધો નહીં. Okay, now whenever you create any project or any create any automation framework, the first thing you should do is that you should create one constant file or the config file. I would say the config file. In that we will store all the details like what is the our site URL, which environment, if there are basic login credentials and everything, right, username and password, you can store in that one the basic configurations, like the
Means
what
property file.
the browser property file, or like yeah, property file. But for the property file as well, we have to write few extra code. So instead of the creating the property file, we'll create one more class, one more Java class, and we'll name it as the constants. Just the constants class, and here we will mention everything, like and everything will be public and final. Everything will be public, static, final. Each variable you declare in constants file. In constant file, there it will contain variables only, variables of any type, but all of them will be public, static, final, so that you can directly access all the variables with the just class name. Okay, so first thing first, URL. Okay, what is the URL of this? Is the URL.
So Neeraj, generally people are using property file. So
Yeah,
I
generally we are using property files, but for that as well, again we have to write down the few more extra lines,
so
right?
is it good to use class instead of
Constants.
property?
It's good to use constants. It's much
Okay.
easier way. It's much
Okay.
easier, right? So I will recommend to use the constants instead of property file, because in that you have to again write one for to read that property file again, you also, sorry, to fetch the data from the property file, again you have to create one more class file, sorry, one more class. In that again you will write some more function to read that everything, right? So we don't want to create too much complexity, so that is the reason, just create the constants. Here we will write the browser as well. We can specify this, right? Like on which browser I want to execute. So I can write it like browser name. Then public static final. I know the I know that the test data directory. So I can write this way, test. So test data plus test data. Okay, and public static final string. We can provide the file name as well. So it file which we will use for Ajax form file name. So suppose you are using the registration, you are using the file for registration. So you can create one more variable named registration form file name, like something like this. Okay, and that you can provide it. I will add two more over here. And what's the file name over? Form details.xlsx. Okay, so for now these are the things required. These are the required things in our constants file. We don't need to use any login credentials for our website. Okay, so these are the basic things required. Now we will jump to the test. Now we will jump to the test. Everyone with me till the constant.java?
Yes.
So
With
Nirvesh, here do we? I have one question. So
yes.
here, do we need to pass that column and cell
No,
IDs?
here, no, here, here we will not. Here we will not. Here, so here we'll just pass the required Excel file name only. So in our test, we will pass the column name, sorry, column number and the row number. In our test, we will pass that, not here, because that is the thing, and that is something which will be different for different files which you will use. Like the for a demo purpose, we will have only one file, right? But for few more forms, we can create a few more Excel files. We can have few more Excel files, like as I said for the registration one, right? I can have one more file for the registration as well. So that file will be the separate file. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm? Fine. So that is it. Now, okay, this is done. Now, where is our discuss? Discuss ajax form dot java. So this is basic thing. It's ready. So here, instead of writing it like this, we can string browser name is equal to constants dot.
Nirvesh,
Hmm,
this test data, what you have created, like with the name of test data, it's not a folder, right?
it's a folder. It's a source folder. Like it's the you. Constants dot. It's the normal test data. Yeah, just test data. It's the folder. It's just the folder. You can save source folder, resource folder. Like
Okay, so we have to paste our Excel file in this.
hmm? Yes, we have to. So why I have created constant dot file? Because in my each test case, there are few things will be which will be common, like the URL and the browser, right? So I don't need to write or define every time in my scripts. So your basic will be, or the basic structure for any of your test case will be like this. It has the main file and the two variables are different, browser name and the constant URL. So it's not like that you have to create the browser name, the variable, and you have to use it. You can directly use wherever it's required as well. Okay, constant URL. So there is no need of storing those variable into, sorry, storing this to in some variable, as we can directly use it. Okay, now this is this is just from demo dot bit dot and close pop up. Okay, what else we need to do? What else we need? Should we copy the input forms from here as well? I think we have to, right? That has the method for, so this will not come in the should I input forms is one module, right? So I will create package com.modules, and here I will move it. Input form, simple checkbox, date picker, forms demo, navigate to input forms, table demo. You have to create one more method for this as well. My bad. Public void objects form demo. Name string comment by locator by dot inspect. Before this, we have to navigate to input forms. Navigate to input forms. Okay, that it was like this only, right? And hello.
Yes, Nagesh.
I know ઊંઘ આવે છે બધાને, right? કાલ શનિવાર છે, સુઈ જજો. What is the name for this as well? name locator. Yes, name locator, and name text field dot send keys. We will be writing down the name, and for the comment locator, web element, web element comment text field is equal to driver dot find element comment locator, and comment text field dot send keys. Will pass the comment. So whenever you design a framework, first you create the normal methods and everything, whatever methods to achieve your functionality, and then you use those method in your test cases. Okay, here one more thing left over here is that I think there is a submit button as well, right? So we do need to click on this submit button. So by submit is equal to I.id driver dot find element. After clicking on submit button, what happens? This message is displayed, right? Form message. Form submitted successfully. This message is displayed. ID is equal to submit control. So here we have to
Verify or going to print it.
not. We are not going to verify. We are going. Yes. So basically, what we will do, we'll just wait for that. WebDriver wait. We'll wait for that element to be first displayed. After clicking on that, it was not displayed immediately, right? So here what we will do, wait until, we'll add over wait expected conditions, use the class dot visibility of element located. It was by dot id. What was the id?
Submit control.
Submit control. Okay, and then We will search for that element. Uh, row. So basically the verification should be done at the discuss level, not at this level. So I will not do any verification over here. Now that's it. We have created the required methods for our functionality. We have created the methods in the Excel utils to set up the Excel file, to get the cell value, to get the row count, to set the cell value. We have created the constant.java to set everything. We do have created the test cases. We have created the function which will pass some value in project, right? Now how we can use this, how we can use this in our script, in our first thing first, we have to open the browser. We have to open the URL. Next thing is we have to wait and close the pop-up. Till then everything is good. Then after, what our scenario says, after closing the pop-up we will navigate to input forms, correct? Hello?
Correct, correct.
Correct. So we'll create the object of that as well. Input forms, in here we'll pass the driver, and from here we will call the methods input forms dot, what was the method name? Oops, sorry, this are the, I need to, since this input forms is in some other package, we have to mark this as the public. Rest of the methods are void, so those are not accessible. Only public method can be accessed. Then access from some class or some other packet. Navigate to input forms, and then should we directly call the input methods, like sorry, that ajax form demo? Here we have to pass the name and comment. Name and comment we have stored inside the Excel file, right? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Nirvish.
Name and comments we have stored in the Excel file. So after navigate to input forms, we will call the functions defined in the Excel utils. When we say the function defined in the Excel utils, it means first we will fetch the data, we will read the Excel. So to read the Excel, whatever the necessary steps we have to take, that we will take after navigating to input forms. So the very first thing we have to do is create the Excel utils object. That is the Excel utils, because we have to call the functions, right? Defined in this file. So obviously to access the function of some other class, we have to
Create object.
create objects. So the very first function we will call, it will be, we have written in the order itself, set up the Excel file, right? Here the first argument we have to pass is the file path. So one more, and file path consists of directory test data plus ajax form file name. So in our test script, we'll create one more string so that we will join. So constants dot direct will give the directory name plus constants dot file name. Okay, so proper file path is created. Now we will call the function utils, sorry, excel utils dot set excel file. In that we'll pass the file path, and the second will be the worksheet name, as this it expects the worksheet name. What's the worksheet name over here is
Sheet one, sheet one.
sheet 1, right? So we have to just read the sheet 1 only, so we'll pass the sheet 1. So again it throws some exception, throws IO exception. Next thing, we have read the excel file. Next thing is we have to fetch the data from excel file, right? We have to fetch the data from excel file. Now when we have opened the excel files, see here we have to iterate for whole excel file. In our session to read the whole excel file, we have I have told you that we have to use the for loop, and we have to get the row count. So first thing first is the get the number of rows, so for that as well we have created the function in the get row count, total number of row count, right? And then we will iterate the rows of the start row. If the current row is equal to, will we start from 0 or 1?
One.
Archita, Priya,
One.
1. Archita, she's there.
Yes, I think she's on.
Okay, will it be less than or equal to?
Less
Equal
than.
equal to one.
Pakku? When there's a equal, so here we will get 4, right? And the data we have as the 1, so 0 1 2 3 4, so equal to number of rows, current row plus plus. Here we'll print the number of rows. Now here it's interesting. String name something, string comment is equal to, okay, empty value. We will be reading the data for this 2 column, correct? So as we have done in our last session, we have read the data and stored in some variable. So here we will do the same thing. Name is equal to Excel Utils. To get the cell value, we have created function get cell value. In that we have to pass the row number and the current row. So current, no, so in that we have to pass the row number and cell number, not the current row. Row number and cell number. Cell number, it means the column. So here our column for name remains the static. So it will be the 0, but the row will always change. So row, in that it will be current row, and the column will be 0. We have done this in last session. Comment equal to Excel Utils dot again get cell value. Here it will be the current row and the column will be 1. Okay, and this to name and comment you have to pass it into input forms dot ajax from demo name comma comment. That's it, nothing else, right? But here we have to be very much careful. First thing, navigate to input forms. We should remove this to line from, because here we have to just will be just entering the data. There should not be anything related to navigation. That's it. For now we'll do it in this manner only. So navigate to input forms, already done. This and this done. Okay, fine. So now what we will do, we'll close this and we will run our script. Simple. But this simple is yaar. Com dot google common collect dot immutable com dot what is this? This is something else. Static logger binder.
Something related to configuration.
Yes, it's related to configuration. No such method. What's the error it is showing? Showing the error. What? Mm, Did we configure the WebDriver class? WebDriver? Hmm? Yes, we have. This error is related to something WebDriver. Uh, it is throwing at launch browser only.
No.
Hmm?
Hmm.
Uh, अरे यार See, I have JDK 7.2. Archita, if you remember that we were getting errors with JDK, we are getting the same error, right? With JDK 17 in your project. Ria,
So you need to downgrade JDK.
I think yes. I think yes.
There
If
is
I
option in Windows.
don't have any other JDK. Yeah, so close. Don't say. What I will do over here. Um, So, even though this is not running due to some error in the WebDriver, but this is how you can implement the data-driven framework.
Okay.
Okay. Um, let me do one thing. Browser driver. Uh, okay. Let's do one more thing.
1.8 in my system.
Yes, in your system it was one.
I think we have configured 1.8 JDK.
Yes, 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 yes. Uh, ach- for the edge as well, we are getting the same. Mm, okay, with JDK 11 we do have this issue, huh? Na? Sorry, with JDK 17 we do have this issue. Okay. Why it is showing that class not found fails if policy. Okay, we will do this thing. What's my version? 99 point something. Uh, HD part of the file counter.exe, but it says browser drivers. So create folder browser drivers, and in that we will. So this is just a trial, huh?
Neeraj, I have to leave.
हाँ okay okay ठीक है वांधो नहीं. I know it's already late.
Uh,
Um, but I have given you the information related to data driven framework. Okay, I'll let me stop this recording as well.